Coming up on 30 seconds until airtime. Mark, 30 seconds until airtime. Once again, stations, if you encounter technical issues during the broadcast, please call the Oregon Studio Hotline at 336-831-0864. Stations, your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
Man, it feels great to be a Duck. Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Their competitors, they'll want to put the O on.
Three, got it!
We're going to compete to a standard every day.
The Oregon standard.
Rebound, tap it in! 1 point more to go!
The opportunity to play, put Oregon on your chest, should mean a great deal to you.
Unloads on one into left field, back toward the wall. Gone!
This program is staged to compete and to win championships.
Oregon wins!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, let's talk Oregon athletics.
What a weekend it was! Oh man, that's an all-timer crowd at Autzen Stadium. To the entire Oregon pit crew, you brought it. You earned yourself a nice Saturday evening, and I hope you all slept all day on Sunday. What an environment it was for game day. What an environment it was at Autzen. And that adds up, including a great performance on the field by the Ducks, to a top 10 victory. Well done, Oregon. All right, now we're going to talk about what happened on the field. How many great memories were created this weekend, by the way, everybody? Those of you who are in the comment section, if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, let me know. Anything that somebody like me wouldn't particularly notice, I want to hear about it in the comment section. I want to hear about it like, hey, this happened, and maybe, Joey, you wouldn't have known that this happened. It was a cool thing. I want to hear about those things. By the way, before we talk Oregon and UCLA, it is a 6-day selection window for the Colorado kickoff time. It happens when your team's really good and TV networks want to wait to see, oh, maybe this is going to be a national kind of game. That's why this happens. So we're going to wait. It's a 12:30 kickoff, though. We know that for sure on Fox Sports 1 when the Ducks travel to Berkeley this upcoming weekend. We will do Friday's show early. More details on that to come in just a little while. 12:30 on Fox Sports 1. Ducks at Cal. Oregon against UCLA. Sabrina Ionescu leading the fan base in shout during picks was fabulous. Sab was quiet leading up to that. She was doing her picks, and I was like, guys, you know, I felt like Sabrina would bring a little more personality to it. She got there. It was great. That was awesome to see. So my behind-the-scenes story there, I was not at game day because I was getting ready for our broadcast. We were on the air network-wide at 10:30. Then I joined our buddy Steve Tannen from 95.3 The Score here in Eugene at 9 o'clock. So coming over from campus, getting on the air, Steve and I are watching that. And I got to tell you, Steve Tannen holds, and this is like Mr. New Yorker Steve Tannen, he holds Derek Jeter in like supreme, I don't even know the right word. Like, he is the supreme sports guy. Well, Sabrina Ionescu is right there for Steve Tannen. He was fired up to see her make picks, and I just thought that was kind of cool, and I wanted to share that with everybody. I love Jeffrey. I guess you probably saw the onside kick. Yeah. And then Jeffrey also asked which sign won Coach Lanning's tickets. I actually don't know. Does anybody know? Anyone in the studio? Yeah, well, so that means our 3 interns that are here in the studio, their sign didn't win, but they were all working, right? Were any of you 3 there like for fun? You were there. Gabe was there for fun. Your sign didn't win. You got on TV. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's what it's all about. Okay, well, anyway, I don't know actually which sign won. Awesome environment, though. All right, we're going to hear from Dan Lanning, going to hear from Bo Nix. I also want to let you hear from Andrew Boyle because that onside kick worked out well. We're going to talk about that. Men's basketball, women's basketball with some notes. By the way, everybody, women's basketball season starts Friday, October 28th. The Ducks with an exhibition against Carroll College. You can head out to see this team in action. I highly recommend it. They're going to be a lot of fun to watch. That's coming up on Friday. We'll have more preview of that in the coming days. Volleyball and women's soccer, we're going to recap those weekends. Congratulations to Matt Ulmer. 100 career wins. He got that this weekend. Congratulations to Coach Ulmer. And then Graeme Abel, Oregon soccer head coach, after what was kind of an up and down weekend for Oregon soccer, he's going to be with us in the studio in about a half an hour. All right, let's talk Oregon UCLA. You know, it felt like the game we anticipated it to be at the beginning, didn't it? Kind of a trading off possessions and scores. You feel like if you're the first offense to blink, you're probably going to lose the game. Well, when that's happening, as it was between Oregon and UCLA, I felt like you have to roll the dice at some point. An onside recovery, it works. Andrew Boyle to Andrew Boyle. So, a couple things there. One, I'm sure that it surprised some people. Two, Andrew Boyle executed it perfectly. Three, how often do you see the kicker recover his own onside kick? Doesn't happen very often. So, for Andrew Boyle, well done. And I think on the sideline, you could feel the energy shift. Like, you could feel the momentum change. So, if neither offense wants to blink, you force the opposing team to blink. And that's what the Ducks did. They ultimately stole a possession out of it, muscled into the end zone. That drive was finished by Jordan James. It's 24-10, and I felt like you feel comfortable at that point if the Ducks were able to maintain what they were doing offensively, and they did. They continue to just impressed with the creativity, I think, on offense. Coach Dillingham is scoring touchdowns, and Bo Nix continues to be excellent. I don't think that it was as close as a 45-30 final indicates. Dorian Thompson-Robinson disagreed with my assessment post-game. He's a Bruin. I'm a Duck. It is what it is. But a 45-30 win, and I, again, don't think that it was that close. Here's why I say that. Some of the numbers. Total yards, 545 total yards for the Ducks compared to 448 for UCLA. The majority of those total yards actually came in the fourth quarter when Oregon had already pulled away. Passing yards, 283 for the Ducks and then 262 on the ground. Remember how I said coming into the game that this was one of the most balanced offenses in the country, UCLA? 51% pass, 49% rush. Well, the Ducks held them to 262 through the air and 186 on the ground. They weren't effective running the ball like they wanted to be. Ducks were able to stop the run. The two best rush defenses in the conference went at it. Oregon's the best rush defense in the conference, I think, after this game. And, man, some of the individual numbers are just outstanding. Bo Nix, 22 for 28, 283 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. And he had 6 incompletions. The last incompletion in the game was when he ran around and threw it out of bounds. So if you remove that incompletion, which really doesn't matter, that means that he had as many incompletions as he did touchdowns. I feel like he should be getting some Heisman consideration at this point. The game against Georgia, everyone's thinking about that nationally. But what Bo Nix has done since then, with the help of the Oregon offensive line that, by the way, has allowed 1 sack all year, did not allow a sack last weekend, one of the only teams in the country that have not lost a fumble this year, the Ducks. I don't know. Offense is pretty good. Usually the quarterback gets a lot of credit, but the offensive line does deserve a lot of credit, especially because they've had injuries. Stephen Jones in and out. Ryan Walk in and out. Jackson Powers-Johnson has played in some different spots for the Ducks. They've had to move some guys around. Really, 7 offensive linemen have regularly played for this team. No sacks. You know, the only sack that they've allowed is still that one against Stanford where Bo Nix got back to the line of scrimmage, but he was like half a yard behind it. Pretty good. Would it surprise you to know that Bucky Irving went over 100 yards for the first time this season in this game? 19 carries, 107 yards. Jordan James had the only touchdown for the Ducks. Noah Whittington, 12 carries, 73 yards. Bo Nix, another nice day on the ground. 8 carries for 51 yards. That's 6.4 yards per carry. He's one of the best yards per carry averages in the country. The offense is really, really good. Thought the defense made plays when they needed to, and the Ducks stole that possession, and it felt like that was the difference in the game. Some other post-game takeaways. First, though, let's listen to what Jerry and Jorgie thought of this game. The game recap, the Oregon video crew putting it together. Jerry and Jorgie on the call. Some of the highlights from the top 10 win over UCLA.
Well, the stage is set. The focus is right here in Eugene, Oregon today. Game day is here. It is a major national showdown, and I cannot wait. Turn, back to throw. Wants to go in zone. Got him! Touchdown, Oregon, Terrence Ferguson. Up the middle, gets tripped up, and gets pulled down behind the line of scrimmage. Back to throw off play action. Going deep. He has got Franklin, who's got it!
That looked like a rainbow I saw a little bit earlier today, and it landed in the pot of gold by the name of Troy Franklin.
And here's a onside kick, and Oregon might have it. Holy cow. Turn, give it to James up midline. Touchdown. Jordan James. To the left, one to the right. Here's a quick screen, and a great play made. Gonna roll to his right. Throws. Catch made. Touchdown. Troy Franklin. Back to throw. Straight rough. Pressure comes. Throws. Catch made. Great tackle. Nix with a snap. Fakes it again. Throws it over the middle. Touchdown. McCormick. 4th down and 4 at the UCLA 37. Back to throw with time. Throws. Caught. Maybe. Could be. It will be. Touchdown Oregon. Bucky Irving. Back to throw. Trying to get away from the pressure. Throws it toward the end zone, and it is intercepted, I believe it was. Addison will pick it off, and Oregon has soundly defeated the number 9 team in the nation. Oregon was in control of this game. There was never a doubt.
There really wasn't a doubt. I love that Jerry said that because even though they were trading possessions and trading points early, the Ducks put their own stamp on this game and put things away. Impressive stuff from Oregon. Ducks tying a program record with its 23rd straight home win. That's the 3rd longest active streak in the nation. And Oregon set a new program record with its 17th straight conference home win, the 4th longest active streak in the nation. It's the first top 10 win for the Ducks in Autzen Stadium since an overtime win over number 7 Washington back in 2018. 6-game winning streak for the first time since 2019. Wasn't that long ago. Ducks are doing some good things. That sellout crowd of 59,962 is the 4th largest crowd in Autzen Stadium history. Well done, fans. You made a difference. Chip Kelly said it postgame. One of the best places to play. And especially with the way Oregon's playing right now, I'd like to say that it's closer to 60,000 for the next few home games for the Ducks as well. Defense held UCLA to 6 of 12 on 3rd down. We said that coming into the game, that this was going to be a 3rd down kind of a game. And the Ducks continue to be really impressive on 4th down. They converted 2 4th downs. You heard them there in the game recap. Ducks were perfect converting 4th downs. And the Ducks are just a ridiculous offense as a whole right now. And the 4th downs are a big part of this, but listen to this. They're on just a torrid pace of scoring 45 points. Oregon entered the game averaging 49.8 points per game since week 2. That's number 2 in the nation during that stretch. Ducks are really good. 4th down conversions, impressive. The rushing balance, impressive. Bo Nix decision-making, impressive. And the defense getting stops when they need to. And then I want to reiterate this. We talked about the offensive line. Oregon has allowed 1 sack in 7 games. For context, last year, Army led the nation with the fewest sacks. They had 7 in 13 games. Army only averaged 8 passes a game. Oregon averages 33. Whew. That's impressive. Offensive line's pretty good. We're going to hear from Dan Lanning, Oregon football head coach, when we come back. Top 10 win. It was a good one. Well done, fans. Ducks are in a good spot. They're in a real good spot. Coach Lanning after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
To your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles. They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Just coming in from the Pac-12 Conference, if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour. Bo Nix, very deserving, the Offensive Player of the Week after that 45-30 win over UCLA. And Alex Forsyth, the Offensive Lineman of the Week in the Pac-12 Conference, as the Ducks continue to bring in some of those individual awards after a great team performance. Dan Lanning, Oregon football head coach, after the game, upstairs with the media in the Hatfield-Dowling complex. His thoughts post-game.
Wow. So I had a pretty good feeling this was going to be an awesome day. The minute I stepped on the quad right around 6 a.m. this morning, and that place was packed. So our fans brought it from really 4 a.m. or maybe 1 a.m. last night all the way to the very end of that game, and they were absolutely a difference for us. A complete team win. We changed the game in special teams. We were able to have some big momentum plays offensively and defensively when you're scoring field goals for them, and we're trading them for touchdowns. That's going to be a recipe for success. Certainly a lot of things that we can get better at. I don't think anybody on our team's satisfied, and I think that's what gives this team a chance to be hungry and great. But really excited about moving forward to the next game. We're going to enjoy this one, though.
Coach, you said before that you feel like you learned something about your team after every game. What do you really think you learned about yourself or your team this week?
The buy-in. You always want buy-in as a coach. And at halftime, we sat there and we talked about, hey, the most physical team's going to win this game. You come and look at the brand of football we played going in to the half, and then really coming out in the third quarter, we said we're gonna run the ball. We're gonna be more physical than you, and we did that in the third. And there was nobody moping on the sideline because we're not throwing the ball 15 times, right? They did what was necessary to win. And when you have a team that has buy-in, that believes in what you're doing, that loves the guys in the room, right, that's when you got a chance to be really successful.
The onside kick felt like kind of a momentum shifter. Why was that the right time? And was that another one of those things where, I guess, pre-game, it was preordained, you would go for it in a spot like that?
Yeah, I think some of you guys might have been at practice earlier this week, and I told you don't tell anybody or I'll never let you come to practice again, right? You saw us practicing that. Appreciate it. You guys kept your lips sealed. So we knew that was something we wanted to do. We wanted to practice it in pressure situations throughout the week. We had a couple pressure kicks that we did early on, and it was there. We saw it after the first kickoff that we felt like, okay, that's the look we want. We think we got a chance for it. The second kickoff, we thought it was there as well. And then the third one, it was actually the worst look that we had, but we still felt really confident in it. It looked like there was some weather coming in, right? We felt like if there was a chance to steal a possession, it would be before the weather really hit. It turned out some weather came, but We knew in that game, especially once we received the kick, that, hey, we want to look to try to get a possession, an extra possession if we can, because we weren't going to get the ball at half.
What's the biggest difference, you think, from what we've seen in Oregon Bo Nix as compared to Auburn Bo Nix that's allowed him to play at such a high level for you guys in a 6-game winning streak?
I can't speak to anything beyond that. I don't think anybody can sit here and watch football right now and watch our quarterback play and tell me he's not an elite quarterback, right? This guy's playing at an extremely high level. He makes great decisions for our team, right? You can't watch a football game right now and say that guy's not elite. He's an elite competitor. He's an elite leader. He has phenomenal character. He's throwing the ball really well, and he's making great decisions. And he's humble, and I think everybody on our team is excited about his success.
Dan, amid the previous 5 games going into the bye, as well as the offense was playing, and it was playing well in almost every facet, there could have been caveats by way of caliber of opponent, caliber of defense. This team was ranked 120x in whatever statistic. To date, this is the best defense you've played since Georgia, and statistically was better than Georgia in certain areas. You put up 545 yards and over 200 yards rushing, and Bo's level of accuracy and efficiency, 100-yard receiver, and go on and on. How did you guys do this against the best test that you faced so far?
Yeah, for us, the standard's the standard. It really doesn't matter who we play. And then you can ask those guys in the locker room before the game started, who are we playing? We're playing Oregon, right? Every week we're competing against ourselves. I think that's a really good football team that we just went against, but the standard doesn't change based on the team you play. And our offense has been operating at a really high level. I think that's credit to our offensive coaches, our staff, and then also credit to our players and the work they put in during the week.
And a lot of people who watched that first game against Georgia would have been surprised to see you here now, 6 games later, playing as well as you guys are. What is it about your team that they were able to kind of flush that so quickly and get into the kind of rhythm they have ever since then?
Growth mindset. Our players have a growth mindset, right? And they know every single week that it's an opportunity to get better. And just because we won this game doesn't mean we're not going to look for an opportunity to improve, right? Monday, these people that are in this room frequently know that I'm going to say we're going to go to the doctor. We're going to figure out what we can get better at. We're going to go take our medicine and improve. And our team's done that week in and week out.
Third quarter opening drive for you guys, 12 straight run plays, ended up with a touchdown. Just what did that drive mean to just this game and just the identity of this team?
Yeah, you just talk about momentum swings, right? And you talk about an opportunity when that's an explosive offense we just played. They're really hard to defend. They're obviously really well coached. The best way you can defend them is to keep them off the field, right? And we felt like there was going to be some moments in this game where we wanted to be able to have our offense on the field and their offense off the field. And that's a great example of our offense doing that, utilizing the clock, being able to take advantage of time of possession and work the ball down the field.
We knew going into this game that DTR's legs could be something that could potentially hurt you. What do you think you guys did that allowed you to be so successful against him?
I mean, ultimately, we just tried to eliminate a lot of one-on-one opportunities. We wanted to try to have vision, to be able to close and finish on him. And I think our guys kind of bought into that plan, did a really good job of executing when we did have a chance. I don't know if we had a sack in the game, but we did keep him contained. I know he had a couple scrambles. He's a really talented player. He's a really tough guy to stop. But you want to be able to know that going in. It really wasn't about statistics for us as much as it was keeping him corralled.
Talked in the bye week about third down defense being a focal point. I know it wasn't probably perfect tonight, but forcing those 3 field goals rather than touchdowns, how critical was that? And did you see improvement on some of those third down plays?
Yeah, we're better. We're not where we want to be at, and I think we'll be the first to admit that. We've got to continue to improve and continue to grow there, and I think we will. But when you're trading touchdowns for field goals, that's a recipe, I think, for success. Eventually we want to be able to turn those into stops. They had some fourth downs that I wish we could have got off the field. But at the same time, they weren't able to score quick. And if they're not able to score quick when there's that kind of deficit, it's going to be hard for them to get back in the game.
Dan, how good is your offensive line right now, and what kind of a level do you feel like they're playing at?
Yeah, I have to go back and watch the film, but I think it's hard to say that they're not really operating well together. It's a really cohesive unit. Again, credit to our offensive staff and the job they've done there, but also credit to those guys. We have some guys that are senior leaders on that group that are really like coaches on the field. Right, and they're able to communicate what looks they see every time they come over. Coach Dillingham actually came up to me before. If you guys watched Alex Forsyth work when no one else is working, you'd understand why that offensive line is like it is. Right, he's out there practicing snapping the ball before practice starts. Right, he's going through calls. And we were in chapel today, and Alex Forsyth's carrying the football around with him in chapel. And I know the Lord appreciates that. Right, and so do the Ducks. So those guys work really hard, and hard work pays off.
Could you talk about the
the job your defensive secondary did. I mean, I don't think UCLA got a lot of stuff going down the field. Was your defense designed to stop the explosion plays? Do you feel like your DBs made a step forward this week?
Yeah, I think again, have to still go back and evaluate the film, but one of our goals coming in this game was to make sure we had more explosives than they had, and that explosive rate ratio. And if you want to do that, you have to eliminate the explosive plays downfield. I think Coach Kelly does such a good job of lulling you to sleep and then challenging your eyes. And we wanted to make sure we didn't have a lot of eye violations in this game, and our guys did a good job of that.
And to that point, Dan, for a lot of fans here today, this is one of the largest crowds in this stadium's history. A lot of people seeing you guys for the first time, in part because of who's on the other sideline, and that was a big part of this. For how aggressive you were, for the big plays, for the utilization of tempo, a lot of people are going to leave today feeling like you out-chipped, and you, not just you, but your staff. You mentioned the offense doing it. How do you feel on a personal level about, when that is part of this, when part of the matchup is the former coach who had success here a certain kind of way?
I have a lot of respect and admiration for Coach Kelly. We got the W today, but that's that's credit to our players. That's credit to our staff. That's not me.
Hi, Dan. You mentioned your offensive staff. Could you just describe the impact Coach Dillingham's had on this offense?
Yeah, he's done a great job. Obviously, he's a guy that I've been able to see in the profession for a really long time. It wasn't that long ago that Kenny Dillingham was a high school coach at Chaparral High School, right? And comes sitting in the corner of a staff meeting every single day and not say a word. And he has grown so much as a coach and developed over time. And obviously, he's doing a great job leading, our team, our offense, and those coaches. And I think he'd be the first one to give credit to quarterback playing really high level and players around him that are doing a really good job and a great offensive staff. So excited to see him have the success he's had.
Coach, back-to-back 4th and 1s in your own territory. After picking up the first one, is the second one even in question?
We knew we were going for it. We're talking about it before it gets to 4th and 1. We're kind of already on the same page. The first one wasn't for sure, though, for what it's worth. The second one was.
Coach, what have you seen from Troy Franklin in practices and just all around so far, the time you've spent with him, that's made him such an elite target and probably one of your go-to target or Bo Nix's favorite targets on the offense?
You like guys that catch the ball. Troy catches the ball. That's a big benefit. I think he has a big catch radius. And a lot of those catches you see out there on the game field are the same ones you see at practice. And Troy's doing a great job. He's grown up a ton as a player, and I'm looking for him to continue to grow and continue to develop. And I know you're just scratching the surface for what he can be.
Coach Lanning, I know you're not a big reflection guy, but you are a first-year head coach, and right now things are going pretty well. Just how does it feel for you personally to know that you have this program on the right track so soon into your tenure?
I'm excited for our players to have success, right? I'm excited for our coaches to have success. I'm excited for a university and some people that support this university so much to see that success, right? And I don't want to get in the way of that, right? But I'm really thrilled to see our guys continue to grow. And what I want is at the end of the season, us to be playing our best football, and we're still not there. But we're getting better every week, and that's the part that excites me.
You just speak the impact of Bo's ability to maybe make a negative play into a positive. He had that swing pass to Bucky in the first half, and then didn't look like late in the fourth quarter, anything was open for him, and he found Bucky open again for a touchdown. Just the importance of him and just that playmaking ability he has.
Yeah, two different plays, kind of. The first one was, there was an opportunity to take the ball down the field. It didn't really develop the way, and we've always said, I think this is a great example of good decision-making as a quarterback. If it's not there, take your check down. Well, Bo's been such a threat with his legs that when he starts to simulate like he might run, well, now that check down, right, becomes a real open target and has success. The second one, Bucky was on a railroad or a wheel route out of the backfield and was uncovered, and Bo got his eyes there and got it to a guy that was uncovered. You're going to have success with plays like that.
Earlier you said Bo's playing like an elite quarterback. What particularly impressed you most about this performance, and are there things maybe you're seeing the maturation process that he's doing today that maybe he wasn't doing week one?
No, it's not something that he's doing now that he wasn't doing before. I just think he's in really good sync and really good rhythm, and there's some moments in this game where, Bo said, "Hey, coach, are you guys good with this? Are you comfortable with this call?" And it's like, absolutely. You want your quarterback to feel like he can be the play caller at times and know what he wants. And he's making great decisions with the ball. He's not putting the ball in jeopardy. He's playing really smart football, unselfish football. that's going to lead to opportunities for us to win. And if he continues to do that, I think we'll continue to see success.
Dan, back to that 15-play drive. I mean, you don't see something like that every day, 12 run plays. What does it say about your team to be able to take up that much clock in the third quarter and continuously pound the rock, and have that much success on a drive like that?
Yeah, I think it becomes disheartening to your opponent, right? Whenever you feel like you can't impact the game because you can't get on the field, right? And it's a tough feeling when you're not able to stop somebody. So for us to have a 15-play drive and use the clock, it's pretty exciting to know that you can have that much control. And I feel like our players were operating with control out there today. Our coaching staff did a good job of executing.
Awesome stuff from Dan Lanning, Oregon football head coach, right after the game. A lot of good things to take away, and Troy Franklin, one of 5 finalists for the Biletnikoff Award, just announced here in the 1 o'clock hour. He deserves it, doesn't he? When we come back, I want to talk some special teams. We're going to hear from Bo Nix later on the show, but I want to talk special teams. The guy who gets the onside kick. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This is an important message from the Mine Safety and Health Administration. Mining fatalities, accidents, and injuries are preventable. Taking a minute to approach your task safely can protect you and your fellow miners from injury and death. Staying alert and focused can keep you safe. Do it safe. Do it right. Whether buckling a seatbelt or securing equipment, these quick safety measures can prevent injuries and fatalities. Take time. Save lives. For more resources, visit MSHA.gov.
Farming is dangerous. There's dangers all around us.
We go through safety training and try and do these things to make sure accidents don't happen.
You don't want to hit a gas pipe because that's your life. The other part of it is if you hit certain things, you're liable for it.
Farm Safe 811 starts with you. Always call 811 and wait for any underground lines to be marked.
Always keep safety in the back of your mind. Just stay humble.
For more information, go to farmsafe811.org.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Men's basketball and women's basketball, some preseason honors rolling in that we'll talk about in just a little while because basketball season begins on Friday. Graeme Abel, Oregon soccer head coach, will join us in a little while as well. Ducks with a kind of tough tie against Cal. Got out to an early 1-0 start, ended up drawing with Cal 1-1 after a second yellow card ended up removing a player from the game for the Ducks, and then a penalty kick, the resulting penalty kick, ended up giving Cal the tie. Ducks had to play a person down and were able to get a tie out of it, but with 3 games left, there's some critical ones. Graeme Abel, we're going to talk about all that. Andrew Boyle, though, the kickoff guy for the Ducks. Yeah, it's always fun when you recover an onside kick, isn't it? And, you know, I'll never forget, Tom Osborne, old special teams coordinator for the Ducks, he said once that you only want to talk about the special teams when either something really good happens or something really bad happens. Fortunately, the kicker, Andrew Boyle, talking with the media postgame.
What's going through your head just in that moment after the onside kick?
Just do what we practiced all week. Just hit the ball, focus on that, try to make everything look the same as it always does, and recover the ball.
Can you take me through the preparations this weekend? We saw a little bit in practice, but just how much did you work on it?
It's still kind of work every week, like to mix things in. I think it's something we were practicing throughout the week and we were confident in, so we're willing to put it in the game.
Was the plan for you to recover it yourself, or did it just bounce that way?
It was the plan, me to recover it, but just bounced the right way and we got it.
What was that feeling like when it bounced the right way? You got it. You realized you were over 45. What was that feeling like?
Oh, it was a great feeling. Everyone came running over on the sideline, smacked my head. It was awesome. It was fun.
Is it just how you anticipated? Just how you pictured it, like during practice?
Yeah, I mean it's just like we draw it up. It was a great feeling. Bounced the right way and we got it. It's awesome.
After the touchdown, did you anticipate that was when when the call was going to come to go with it?
I mean, it's what we discussed during the week, but Coach gave me the call, and I was ready to do it.
This environment today, is this kind of what you envisioned when you were coming to Oregon, this type of atmosphere?
Yeah, I mean, this is awesome. This is what Oregon's all about. Fans are amazing, absolutely packed the stadium. It's the best environment around. It's awesome.
When you recover that, are you just like preparing to get drilled?
Preparing for it, planning not to, but.
What's the hardest you've ever been hit in football?
In football?
Yeah, like in your career.
I don't know. I mean, I used to play quarterback in high school, so I took a couple hard hits. Luckily, haven't been hit much in college as a kicker. But
are you paying more attention to the ball or to the yard marker that you know it has to go across?
A little bit of both. I was watching how it was bouncing and waiting to get it right after it went 10 yards. So just gotta keep everything in mind going down the field.
Did you get a chance to check your phone yet?
Not yet.
You quite a few text messages waiting, I'm sure.
I'm sure at least a couple from family and friends.
When you transfer into Oregon, these are maybe not that exact one, but this is what you were hoping for to be in the mix for a conference title. Just how much fun is this to have a moment like that on your resume?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome to have a team like this and coaches like this that are, have the ability to go all the way. It's awesome.
That's awesome to hear from Andrew Boyle, the Oregon kicker. Isn't that cool? It's awesome when we get to hear from the kickoff guy post-game after recovering that onside kick, and he said his phone, believe me, his phone was probably dead with the amount of push notifications that it received during the game. That's awesome. Oregon football with a nice win. And we're coming down the home stretch for Oregon soccer. Head coach Graeme Abel is with us, and when we come back, it's a deep dive. Deep dive. More coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
This is Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Question: what will you find on all over-the-counter or OTC medicine packages to help you choose the right drug and use it safely? The answer: the drug facts label. This label lists the medicine's active ingredients and purpose, how much to take, and warnings you should know before using it. Remember, even OTC medicines you buy without a prescription can cause side effects you don't want. So follow the information listed on the drug facts label. For more information, visit fda.gov/drug facts label. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack. He's Graeme Abel, Oregon soccer head coach. Coach,
how we doing?
How are you?
I'm all right.
Yeah?
Yeah, the final stretch here, like you said.
Yeah, it is the final stretch. The deep dive, I have no idea what that means, but it's going to be a deep dive. All right, we haven't talked to you since last Monday.
Yeah.
Lots happened in your program since last Monday. Couple big-time games.
Yep.
Up and down, I think, would be a fair way to describe them.
That would be a solid way to describe it.
What'd you think? Recap it for fans.
I'm trying to go back to Thursday's game now.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
It was a long time. So, yeah, I mean, it's again the first goal, right? Who scores first? And let Stanford score was 4 or 5 minutes or something into the game.
Right.
And then after that, I mean, I thought we did okay. But again, it's allowing teams to get back into allowing teams to get out in front, and we were disappointed how we started that game because we spoke about playing it differently in terms of how we started. Obviously, we did the opposite on Sunday, but we knew if we could come out fast against Stanford, then it would give us a chance, and we didn't do that, and we didn't, they were fairly predictable in terms of what they were doing, and I thought we managed that piece fairly well in terms of, them playing into certain areas, but we conceded that one goal, and then against good teams and you put yourself in the hole, it's very difficult to dig your way out of it.
It's tough. I got to tell you, I've talked to you enough now over the years, and especially this year, both on the air, off the air with your office so close, that I could hear you in my mind watching, 1, the Stanford game, and then 2, the Cal game with those early goals. I mean, that was a focus to try to score first. You guys seem to perform well when you score first.
Yeah, I mean, it's a general rule of thumb in college. If you get the first goal, you've got a really good chance because it allows, again, the opposition then has to come at you a little bit more. It opens up spaces. We have pace up top where we can transition on teams. We know we can defend the 18-yard box well. We've got, probably the best goalkeeper in the nation.
She's pretty good.
She's okay. So no. So yeah. We know we can handle those things. So that's why yesterday, going up 1-0 and then playing really well in the first half. I thought, some of the things we put together was as well as we have done all year, and starting to get numbers back now. We were missing Alice yesterday, but she's going to be fine, and getting Caitlin Shaw major minutes, which is huge. She's such a good player, and we hardly had her last year just because she, we were trying to manage it through the season. We haven't really had her at all this year, and seeing her play the way that she did yesterday was awesome. That was the old Caitlin Shaw, and she, like I said, she's such a good player.
You bring up a great point. We've talked all year about how your squad has dealt with, I would argue, above average numbers of injuries.
Yeah.
Maybe not above average, maybe a ton of injuries. You are getting healthy at the right point in the season for this home stretch, aren't you?
We are. I mean, we're getting numbers back. I mean, we're just putting the numbers up on the board there in terms of who we've got back and what positions, depth-wise, and how that affects us in terms of how we can... Because we've had to play certain shapes based upon who we've had available. Yeah. And so now we're starting to get numbers back. We're like, okay, we're getting this person back, we're getting that person back. That allows us to do rotations a little bit more. And so it's great. So we feel as though, hey, the last 5 games are so important in terms of your resume for the tournament as well. That, all right, you look at our, last few games, and they've all been tight. They've all been 1-goal games the last four games. So we know these games are going to be tight, so numbers are going to matter. And so we feel really good going into these last 3 games. And we know the margins are really slim at this point. But listen, this is why you're in sports.
Yeah.
You're in sports to win games 9-0. You're in sports for these tight games, these adrenaline moments, and it's essentially a knockout event right now that we're playing in, and that's what's awesome about it.
Well, I mean, shoot, you look at the metrics in all sports. So, in baseball, the 1-run games. In football, the 1-possession games. Mm-hmm. In soccer, it's the 1-goal games, right? The teams that win the close ones tend to be the teams that win championships.
Yeah, and you listen, over the years, I mean, I think in my time here, we've probably had more ties than we've had. I mean, a silly amount of ties, like 15, 16,
You've
17.
had more ties than you have losses, for sure.
Oh, well, yeah, without a doubt on that piece. So we know we can keep it tight in terms of things, and we know we can create. We want to create more goal-scoring opportunities. We know we can create them within a game. So it's that fine line of tipping it over the edge. So excited to get the numbers back. Feel good about the way we're doing things. It's now putting it together for more consistent runs, and now we're starting to get a little bit more settled. going into game 16, is it game 17? So, we feel good about it.
All right, we're going to look ahead a little bit. I do want to look back with you because a couple fans, even when I was talking about it at the start of the show, had asked, like, so what's the coaching moment there? Because it's now the second time this season that you guys have had to finish a game a player down, and for the most part, I would say playing without a player and playing with 10 players down, you guys have kind of made the most that you can out of those situations this year.
Yeah, coaching moment in the goal or coaching moment in the sending off?
I don't know. Both.
Let's go both. So. The reality is once you get a yellow card, and it's difficult as a defender, you unfortunately have to let them go when they go. From a standpoint, if the player beats you, she beats you. You don't have the game management of grabbing a jersey and pulling them back and taking the yellow card for the team. And so, listen, Chai will learn from it for the rest of her career. She's going to want to have a pro career, so she'll learn from it. So that's a good piece for her personally because she'll get to learn from that piece, and it's a learning moment. And then I think, with the penalty, again, we've been caught 1v1 defend. They've been able to play into us. They've been able to skip past Bell. And, again, inside the 18-yard box, it's unfortunately any type of, especially these days, any type of contact is it's going to be a penalty. Yeah. So I think the way that Bell got after it, I think Coach Lanning might be giving her a call. So playing as a defensive tackle, we'll joke around with it. Listen, it is what it is. And it's how you look at it after the fact. And and I listened to a really good podcast a few years ago from a guy called Johnny Wilkinson. He was a kicker in rugby. When England won the World Cup, and he spoke about, after the fact, when you sit down and you do video, you're a different player than the player in that moment.
Sure.
Because you've got X amount of minutes afterwards, and you've evolved as a player. And we'll sit down as a group and we'll look at it. No blame is ever placed on anyone. It's, hey, listen, this is a moment for all of us to sit down and learn. Now, we all have to learn from this moment. But if we do that, then we move forward as a group.
Yeah, that's coaching. Yeah.
That's it, you know what I mean? And it's, like I said, there's never any blame placed. It's always about, hey, how we continue to move forward and evolve as a group.
Well, it's definitely a big stretch of the season. We talked about this a little bit last week. And so you're 4-6-6. Reminder, you got to be 500 or better to be eligible for the tournament. You guys were sitting at number 41 nationally in the RPI coming into the weekend. And these are two top 25 teams that you just had at home. RPI is still sitting really strong. So you got the Arizona schools. You're at home against Oregon State. This is what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, this is why we play it, right, to come down to the big moments. And I think we said it when we were off air. The past couple of years, we've gone down to these last couple of weekends in similar situations. Now we know it's time for us to cross the line. Yeah. And for, again, I've said this a number of times, for our kids to continue to put our program in this position, especially after this year and, the ups and downs of this year and their toughness and their resilience to stay in it and keep it alive, it's awesome, and that goes all credit to all the student athletes in our group. And so, we know, like I said, the margins are really tight right now, and we can't afford to pick up a loss. We've got to make sure we at least pick up a tie and a win on this road trip, and we're good on the road. We are good on the road. I love our group on the road, and we'd love to bring it back to Pape and get everyone out there and finish it off at Pape.
So that's how it sets up. 7 o'clock against Arizona State. It's on the Arizona State live stream. 7 o'clock Thursday against Arizona State, I should say. And then you guys have Arizona coming up 1 o'clock. That one's on the Arizona live stream, so no television from Pac-12 Network can follow along with the various Arizona school-produced broadcasts. Tell us about these two teams. What should fans know about them heading into this?
A lot of international players over at Arizona State. They've played a few different systems. They had an unlucky one at the weekend. I think they were 1-0 up against Washington up until the 82nd minute and then got beat 2-1. In a last-minute goal. So, but good team, good technical players. Nicole Douglas, kid, plays up top from England. Very good player, goal scorer. We've had tight games versus them. I think we were 1-1 in the COVID year, 1-0 last year. Then Arizona, it's a new coach. It's in her second year, and she's got them a lot more organised. She had tough year last year with the transition, but again, we had a 1-0. I think we beat them 1-0 and 1-0 the last couple of years here in Eugene. So it'll be really tight games. like we said, those one-goal games, those tight margins. So it's going to be a really tough weekend, but it's a weekend we feel really good about.
7 o'clock Thursday, 1 o'clock on Sunday. The Ducks heading to the desert. You're going to go to the volleyball game, it sounds like, Friday.
We're going to take the kids to the volleyball game, make some noise for those guys. So,
that's sweet. So, Oregon volleyball's in action, 7 o'clock in Tucson Friday night. And
watch Coach Ulmer go for 101.
Yeah,
so
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. 100's a good number.
100 is a good number.
200's better.
300's even better.
That's right. See? Now, in your sport, it takes a little longer usually to get to those marks. You play less games, right? I mean, 100's more impressive in soccer than it is in volleyball.
Yes, because we're a max of 20 games a season, postseason and all that stuff.
They're already there. They're already at 20. So.
How many do they play, 28?
Shoot. Depends on postseason because they can go for a long time.
Yeah.
No postseason Pac-12 tournament for volleyball, but, they'd go for a while. And Coach Ulmer, to his credit, he's gotten to the Sweet 16 a few times. So.
He's a big timer.
Yeah, well, don't tell him that.
Big timer with great hair, apparently.
God, you had to say that, didn't you?
I watched the show.
Ah, thanks.
Hair products.
I'm glad
I've not used them in a long time.
You're saving money.
Exactly. Well, I've got to because my wife's hair costs about $300 every time she gets it done. Mine costs me about $20 in razors a year.
Graeme Abel, Oregon
and
soccer
a few Band-Aids when it nicked my head.
Yeah, that's that's about right. Keys to success. What's it going to take to get it done? And and I should tell fans, look, talk about razor thin margin. So 4-6-6 is the record right now. Minimum this weekend, go 1-0-1, and then it's a big time. Feels like a postseason game. Then at Pat Field the following week.
It's knockout. This is it now. You know what I mean?
This is it.
It's quarterfinal of the World Cup. That's what it is.
Yeah, it feels that way.
Yeah. So I mean, the keys to success for us, it's about us. Number one. It's about doing what we do to the best of our ability, and that's what we always focus on. Sure, there's things we can do within the opposition and things like that to set up in different ways, but we know there's certain things that we do, and we'll always try to do those to the best of our ability. And like I said, we feel good about where we're trending right now from our squad, where we're at with things, and so we're confident, we feel good about things, and so we're looking forward to the weekend.
Graeme Abel, Oregon soccer head coach, 7 o'clock on Thursday, trip to the desert, 1 o'clock on Sunday. All the details, Oregon soccer schedule. Enjoy Oregon volleyball. That's going to be fun.
We will do. Go Ducks.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Safe travels. We'll catch up with Coach Abel again next week. Postseason soccer. That's what it feels like.
Let's do it.
When we come back, some preseason awards for men's and women's basketball. Also, let's hear from Bo Nix after the game that he had this past weekend. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Unused prescription opioid pain medicines can spell trouble. They can spell risk if taken by someone they weren't prescribed for, harm if accidentally taken by a child or pet, or overdose if they're not used as directed. Safely dispose of opioids before they can hurt your family. Find a drug take-back option such as medicine drop boxes. You may find these in your community at local pharmacies or police stations. Visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy that's safe and legal, visit fda.gov/BeSafeRx. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Man, big week. It feels like postseason, doesn't it? I mean, for Oregon soccer, they're going to get it done in the desert. Then it's going to come back to Pape Field. It's going to come down to the matchup with Oregon State. That's really what it should be. That's really what it should be. Oregon men's basketball. Preseason honors for Will Richardson, one of 20 players nationally named to the Bob Cousy Award preseason watch list. Also a preseason All-Pac-12 team member for the third year in a row. Quincy Guerrier and freshman Khalil Ware, honorable mention from the Pac-12. And women's basketball, a trio voted to the preseason all-conference team, Tina Paopao, Sona Prince, and India Rogers. The Ducks equaled Arizona for the highest number of representatives on the preseason squad, and all three of these individuals would be the first to tell you that the preseason honors don't matter. They want to be on the postseason All-Pac-12 team. Oregon volleyball remained perfect at home this season on Friday, and then they got it done against Colorado, swept them on Sunday, 100th career victory for Matt Ulmer. Congratulations to him and the Ducks. Let's finish today hearing a little bit from Bo Nix, the Oregon football quarterback, met with the media after the game. We'll hear a little bit from what was another impressive 5 touchdowns, 0 interception performance, Bo Nix.
How'd it feel out there today?
That was an awesome win for us, awesome for our team. It was just a complete team win. As we've been doing, I thought offensively we're great on all cylinders. Running, throwing, everything was just kind of working for us today. And when you can stay balanced like that, usually you're going to put a lot of points up.
What's different for you this year? Because you are on another level than what you've been in the past.
But I think it's just scheme and just the players around me. I think we've done such a good job of just running the play that's called. And to be honest, out there when I'm doing it, it feels like I'm not doing a whole lot because I don't have to. I just got to get the ball to the playmakers around me. And then Coach Dillingham has constantly put us in really good situations. We're really comfortable with the plays we call. I always feel like we got plays called at the right time. We're doing great with our shots, explosive plays. And not only that, when we call them, we're hitting them.
How does it feel for you personally to step up in moments like these?
Huge. I think it's just, it feels good just to be a good player for my team, just to do what I need to do to help them whenever there's a possibility to do that. And obviously they have my back like I have theirs. And we're just playing good team football right now. I think each and every one of us are very connected, very close with one another, and that shows on the field.
The rhythm that you and Coach Dillingham are in right now, is that something different than you had experienced with him before? Like, how different is your guys' relationship now than it was 3 years ago?
Well, this is the first year he's called plays for me, so I think that right now, obviously, 6-7 games in, we're as close and just connected offensively and thinking the same so much. I know what he wants out there on the field, and so if we get a certain look, I know what play to get us into, and he just does a great job of, he trusts me to get, he trusts me with what I see. So if I see something, I don't like something, he allows me to do that, and he never says anything. Even if it's a negative play, it's always just next play, whatever, he'll get us out of a bind. But sometimes he calls plays knowing that we're going to check it into the right look, so he's good with it. And we're just...
That's cool hearing it from Bo Nix. End of the show. Wanted to get that in. Ducks, feeling good. See you on the show tomorrow. Rob Mullins will join us.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. With honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be shared with friends or family. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad. Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices